Hello there everyone, Aiden here from Push Square with a nice and simple roundup from Gamescom, which showcased a ton of new announcements and deeper looks at games we already knew about. There's a whole load to cover here. The show was a whopping 2 hours long, so I'm not going to be overly detailed with all of the games that were there today. Instead, I'm going to have a brief rundown of some of the highlights and some of those games that just didn't land. Here are all the most notable announcements at Gamescom 2022. So we kicked off the show with Everything, which was a metaverse experience developed by Build a Rocket Boy. Now this is a weird multi-world game that blends gameplay, cinematics, adventure, creativity and discovery. Now to me that all seemed a bit too ambitious, a little too vague as well, so I would need to know more information on it as we get closer to that 2023 release window. At this point we don't know which platforms it's actually coming to, however a small tidbit of information we did get is via a LinkedIn post from the developer showing us that blockchain will be implemented in some form to the game, or at least hinting that it will. Next up we went straight to Hype City. Dune Awakening is an open world survival MMO developed by Funcom and in association with Legendary, the distribution company behind the Denis Villeneuve Dune movies. Now this is going to be a current gen only title, so will arrive on PlayStation 5, but we don't actually have a release date just yet. You'd like to think that it would line up with Dune Part 2, which at this point is scheduled to release in cinemas on November 17th, 2023. However, the whole idea of this game has some incredible potential, especially with the survival aspects on a planet like Arrakis, which is infamously hostile. I cannot wait. One for all of you competitive players out there, Sony threw Jeff Keighley a bone and announced the DualSense Edge, the Pro controller designed by PlayStation. With this, you're going to be able to customize stick and trigger dead zones, reconfigure or deactivate buttons, and save multiple control profiles for easy access. There's no release date just yet, but Sony says that will come in the months ahead, and we don't know a price at this point, but it's not going to be cheap. Moving on, we had Sonic Frontiers, which finally officially announced that November 8th, 2022 release date, meaning it will arrive on both PlayStation 4 and 5 the day before God of War Ragnarok. Now this looks far better than what we were shown a couple of months ago. Then we got a glimpse at some gameplay, some cinematics, some new environments, and even the Green Hill Zone from the original game. I still feel like you need to play this one before making up your mind, so we'll hold off our reservations just yet. Following that, we had Atlas Fallen, which is the new game from Deck 13, the development team behind The Surge. Now, this is coming to PlayStation 5 next year. You'll be able to play it in solo or online co-op, and when you're playing either of those ways, you'll be hunting creatures, creating custom weapons, using custom abilities and skills. It all looks nice, the combat looks fun, and the world could be interesting if it's dynamic as the trailer was trying to make it out to be. Then for one of our first big disappointments of the night, we had Hogwarts Legacy, which revealed just another basic trailer. You could have shown me the last one that was released and I wouldn't have really known the difference. However, it did hint at some of the choice-based systems that could be in the game, yet it didn't go as far to fully confirm them. We did get an announcement of the Deluxe Edition, which comes with the Dark Arts Pack. It's a bit of a tongue twister there for me. You'll be able to pre-order the game on August 25th, and of course, it's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 on February 10th, 2023. One that might not be all that exciting to a lot of people, we got yet another look at Gotham Knights. However, this trailer did confirm the appearance of both Harley Quinn and Clayface. It showcased some of the new outfits and scenes we'd seen before, sort of showing how dynamic they can be. But the interesting part is that it actually pulled its release date forward by 4 days from October 25th to October 21st. I'd imagine that this is to distance itself from Modern Warfare 2. From the devs behind Ghost Runner, this time under a brand new studio called Ironbird Creations, we got our first look at Phantom Hellcat, a game that's coming to both PlayStation 4 and 5. This is a game that has gameplay very similar to Nier, with perspective shifting combat and a blend of both third person and 2.5D side-scrolling. It all looks visually very satisfying, so this will be a good one to check out when it arrives on PlayStation 4 and 5. Quite possibly the most interesting looking game of the entire showcase, we got another look at the Souls-like action RPG that is Lies of P. In this game, you are actually playing as Pinocchio in a very dark version of this world. It's got some awesome crunchy combat and killer enemy designs, and we can't wait for this one to come out on PlayStation 5 in 2023. So because we don't have all night to go through everything that was announced, I wanted to do a quick little list of honourable mentions here. Destiny 2 Lightfall showed its cinematic trailer after the Destiny 2 showcase earlier in the day. New setting, new enemies, new subclasses. This looks great, I can't wait to try it. Next up we have Dying Light 2, which revealed its first batch of DLC for the supposed 5 years of support for this game. It's kind of like a Gladiator game, it's coming in October this year, could be worth checking out. We got another look at the Callisto Protocol, and while there wasn't too much new, we did get a look at the new mutation mechanic where enemies can grow limbs and become stronger, and we got a look at some new death animations because they are utterly disgusting. This is among my most anticipated and I cannot wait for it. Then we had The Lords of the Fallen, which is a sequel except without the number. We're getting a "the" instead of a "to". It's that gothic action RPG, so if you were a fan of the first game, this looks like a great expansion upon that, although it was just a cinematic. Then we got a look at Goat Simulator 3, which just looks like utter chaos, headbutting people, throwing them around, exploding things, absolute mania, worth checking out. Then in a big surprise for a movie to game adaptation you wouldn't expect, we got Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which looks to be another sort of asymmetrical survival experience. And the big showstopper of the entire night was Dead Island 2. This was leaked last week through an Amazon listing, and now we have official confirmation it's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 on February 3rd. Now in its campaign there's going to be 6 playable characters, all with different personalities and dialogue, so that could be interesting, wondering how it will play out if it's select a character, play the campaign, or you're going to be mixing and matching as you go. Now the game's going to be set in LA, it's going to have a big focus on manic close quarters melee combat with plenty of weapons to experiment with. It's taken an influence from pulpy B movies, and you can see that with the absolutely excessive amount of gore with this sort of tongue-in-cheek comedy approach, which was kind of in the first game. I personally don't think this quite had like the big selling point to differentiate it from the zombie games that have come before. You know, Dying Light 2 has the whole parkour system, but this was just melee combat, which I feel like every zombie game has, but we'll see when the game eventually comes out. Whew. And that is the good and the bad from Gamescom 2022. Let me know which you were most excited to see, the ones you were disappointed by, and of course, I'd like to know your thoughts on some of the games I didn't mention here today. I know there are plenty of them because the showcase was enormous, but anyway guys, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.